Electric cars may be the way of the future, but if every Australian driver switched to electricity today, the system might struggle to keep up. That's where Dr. Julian de Hoog comes in.
We want to find out first what are the impacts of when you plug in an electric vehicle, what does it do to the electricity grid? And secondly, how can we find ways to shift electric vehicle charging from peak times to off-peak times? An electric vehicle has a big impact on the grid. It's a bit like adding a small household, both in terms of your total demand over a day and also in terms of the contribution to peak demand. And the networks need to be able to cope with that.
Charging an electrical vehicle without any control has lots of negative effects on the grid, such as increased peak demand, as well as lowered household voltages, as well as overheating the wires, etc.
One way to control electric vehicle charging is to do it in a central way using smart meters. So in such a scenario, somebody controls vehicle charge rates from a central location in such a way that you know what your network is like and you can do it in such a way that you can charge as many vehicles as possible without causing negative effects.
You can also control the chargings in a distributed way. You can implement all your algorithm into the plug like this. The plug will make its own decisions based on the partial information it has, and this will also help the grid to manage the charging demand introduced by the EVs.
Electric vehicles can be a realistic part of our future, provided we solve the electricity problem to make electricity generation green. Once it is green, it's a sustainable solution, and electric vehicles are here to stay.
In Victoria, where unfortunately we have quite a dirty generation mix, a lot of brown coal, electric vehicles have roughly the same impact on the environment as similar sized petrol or diesel powered vehicles. However, if we start to power electric vehicles using solar power or wind power, then all of a sudden you can drive your daily commute without having any sort of carbon footprint at all.
There is an alternative way to make transport green, and that would be to create an alternative to fossil fuels using biofuels. And if we could, for example, do artificial photosynthesis, then it would be possible to generate fuels in a biological, sustainable manner. And then we have an alternative pathway that would allow us to use internal combustion engines. We care at university to think about electric vehicles because we have a sustainability framework to think about. We have set in the university we would be carbon neutral by 2030. And we have set that for our own activity. I would like to think as a step further. A huge part of our carbon neutrality would come from also making our commute into work carbon neutral. And electric vehicles could be an answer there. And so that's why we want to think about it and make it possible.
Electric vehicles are part of a much bigger picture. The methods that work for electric vehicles also apply to a wide range of other loads, such as washing machines, dishwashers, and even thermostats. If we find better ways to use energy, if we can match our demand to supply instead of the other way around, then we can go a long way towards reducing our carbon footprint.